Hello students, welcome to this session, C++ session of tutorials, when I will be dealing with a very important C++ concept, that is polymorphism. Okay, so what actually you mean by polymorphism? In simple words, if you consider the function overloading concept, it's nothing but function polymorphism, or it's simply called as polymorphism. Okay, so in that case, if you consider if there are two or more functions having the same name, okay, as you can see in this example, there are two functions with the same name add. Okay, so this is called as function overloading. Fine. So if you can observe carefully, this add function, which is going to call the add with int as arguments. Okay, over here a and b are in, and this add function, which is going to call the function add, okay, which is going to receive float as arguments. That in this case p and q are float data types. Okay, so this concept or this example demonstrates function overloading. Okay, and this is called as polymorphism. Fine. So in this case, the first call to the add, okay, the compiler decides, okay, as you can see, for the single interface or single add function, there are two definitions which are of same name. Okay, so in this case, the compiler decides to call which add specific function. Okay, so in this case, if I call the add function with int arguments, there are two definitions, but one of the definition receives int arguments. So obviously compiler will call the first add function which receives integer arguments. Fine. So for the second call, the compiler will decide to call the second add function as float values are being passed for in add. So in the second call, the float for second definition, float values are being received. So obviously compiler will decide to call the second definition for the second call. Okay, so as you have two function calls, the difference between these two function calls is they pass different arguments. Okay, and also you can have one more way wherein you can have one more add function with a comma b comma p as arguments. Okay, so in this case, you have another add function with two integer and one float data type. For that, you can provide the definition as void add, say int x comma int y comma then float, say z. Fine. So in this case, I will say float add float say sum, then say sum equal to a plus b plus not a plus b plus, it is z, it is x. Okay, in this case I need to declare the variable as x. So here x plus y plus z. Okay, so cout I'll call it as hybrid sum as equal to say sum fine. So in this case, for the third function call, okay, as I had initially two function calls, add with integer arguments, second add with floating point argument, third add with two integer and one floating point. Okay, this is also an example of function overloading. Okay, so I need to provide one more declaration, add with int comma float. Fine. So I now have three function calls. I have three functions with the same name, add, but with different types of arguments and different number of arguments. Okay, so that's how the functions are being differentiated from each other. Okay, let me just check out the output of this program. I'll just clear everything. I will compile. The file name is add.var.cpp. Okay, right. I'll enter say 1, 2 for AB, and I'll enter 1.2 and 2.1 for PQ. Okay, now in this case, for int sum you have the value 1 plus 2 3. For float sum you have the values 1.2 plus 2.1 as 3.3. And for the hybrid sum you had 1 plus 2, that is 3, plus 1.2, that is you had passed additional argument, that is p as argument. Okay, so over here hybrid sum is 4.2. That's there is nothing wrong in this. Okay, so I hope you people have understood this polymorphism concept. Thank you.